federal agency advances gas stove proposal from commissioner who floated ban. And the left is still pretending like they never intended on um, banning gas stoves because it was such an uproar over it. Even some people on the left was talking about it, and then you have pundits like Colbert come out and pretending like they're not trying to ban it and all this other stuff when they came out their mouth and said they were trying to ban it. But and if they're not trying to ban it, why are they doing all of this proposals and stuff like that? So we're gonna talk about that on. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts, so check those out as well. All right, let's talk about this news. A U.S. agency has advanced a request for information on gas stove hazards after it was filed by a commissioner who has floated banning the stoves, which is ridiculous. We never heard of gas stoves being terrible for us before. However long gas stoves been around, now all of a sudden, gas stoves is a problem. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission announced on March 1st it is seeking information from the public, quote, on chronic chemical hazards from gas ranges. The commission released a draft public notice on the request for information, but has not released the final notice. The final one should be published in the Federal Register next week, a commission spokesperson told the Epoch Times via email. Members of the public are being told they're welcome to submit comments on how many U.S. homes have gas ranges, how the commission should evaluate risks related to gas stove usage, and what information should be part of labels with warnings about hazards on stoves, among other aspects of the issue. Again, it's about more government control. Just Biden just coming in and taking more and more of our rights, and this is proof of it right here. He don't want you to be able to use a gas stove, use cheap gas. Everyone know that natural gas is a lot cheaper than running electric, and they don't want you to be self-sufficient either. So when the power goes out, you can still use those gas stoves, but you wouldn't be able to, of course, if it's hooked up to the electric grid and your power goes out. And again, they want you dependent on government. They don't want you self-sufficient, and it's about power and control. And they're using this fake green agenda to pretend like, oh, it's for the environment, it's to keep you safe. But in actuality, it's about them being able to control you. The commission is also requesting, quote, proposed solutions to those hazards. The vote to approve publication of the notice was 3-1. A commission spokesperson told the Epoch Times in an email. Commissioners Mary Boyle, Richard Trumka Jr., and Chair Alexandra Hoehn-Saric voted in favor, while Commissioner Peter Feldman voted against. Trumka, a Biden appointee, floated a ban on gas stoves in January. You know, I talked about that. But, quote, any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned, he told Bloomberg at the time. Trumka also wrote in an internal memorandum that, quote, the need for gas stove regulation had reached a boiling point, and the commission, quote, has the responsibility to ban consumer products that emit hazardous substances, particularly when those emissions harm children, under the Federal Hazardous Substances Act. But again, how all of a sudden this week, many years of people running gas stoves, all these scientists, why all of a sudden now gas stoves is a problem? Quote, there is sufficient information available for CPSC to issue the NPR in fiscal year 2023 proposing to ban gas stoves in homes, Trumka also wrote. NPR stands for Notice of Proposed Rulemaking. Again, and they do this. They make these so-called rules and regulations, and they skirt Congress by creating these so-called rules and regulations. So it's not even voted on. The White House and Hoehn-Saric later said they weren't in favor of banning gas stoves. After saying all that about bans, now all of a sudden they're not going to ban gas stoves. It's because it was so much of a pushback. Some lawmakers have introduced bills that would block the CPSC from banning gas stoves. The approved request for information (RFI) quote does not constitute or propose any regulatory action or ban. Hoehn-Saric said in a statement this week, quote, the chronic hazards that can arise from toxic emissions should be studied, and that is what we are doing with the RFI. I welcome the public's input and data during the comment period. The RFI was initiated by Trumka during an October 2022 meeting, direct staff to prepare an RFI. The prepared RFI was later approved. Again, it's because it was so much pushback. Even some people on the left was pushing back about it. That's why they were like, "No, we have to scrap this." They keep seeing how far they can push us. That's exactly what happened to the disinformation board. They wanted to see how much they can get away with, how much pushback, and if they receive enough pushback or enough resistance, they'll throw it out and be like, "Oh, we didn't intend on doing this in the first place." But they're gonna keep pushing. They're gonna keep trying stuff. They're gonna keep trying to push regulations for more power and control. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.